Associated Press is the closest thing mainstream journalism has to a circulatory system, the news lifeblood for newspapers, radio, TV, and internet, left and right. Today, the AP headline for the speech by Mr. Bush was, "Bush rhetoric on energy strays from the facts." So polite, the AP. In our third story tonight, we will grossly overuse the phrase, "in fact," to address Mr. Bush's claims about the economy, claims that sought to blame Congress for it on the eve of new government figures that may confirm the reality of the Bush recession. Mr. Bush today said in the very same event that it took a long time to get into this fix and that it's the fault of congressional Democrats who just took power last year. The details of linear chronology not sufficient to stop Mr. Bush from laying blame.
Americans are concerned about making their mortgage payments and keeping their homes. And I don't blame them. Last year I called on Congress to pass legislation that would help address problems in the housing market.
In fact, while Mr. Bush first blamed the mortgage crisis on homeowners, his administration turned a blind eye when investment banks began buying risky mortgages and trading them in ways intended to disguise their risk. And even today, Mr. Bush opposes what even his own Treasury Secretary and the Fed chairman both recognize: more regulation is necessary. And those bills Congress did not pass, they have been held up in the Senate by Republicans. So what has Mr. Bush done, in fact?
One of the things we've done on home ownership is the Hope Now Alliance, which hopefully makes people less anxious. Hopefully it helps. It's kind of brought a sense of not only concern but action into the marketplace. And I was told this morning that Hope Now has affected about 1.4 million homeowners and helped a lot of them get refinancing, or helped a lot of them get, different interest payment schedules, all aiming for creditworthy people to be able to stay in their homes during this difficult period.
In fact, a report last week found that 70% of homeowners 2 months behind on their mortgage still are not getting help, not help paying, just help agreeing on terms they can pay. The number of homes repossessed in the first quarter of this year shot up 36% to 205,000. But mostly today it was oil that the world's most powerful failed oil man had in mind, again blaming Congress, again lusting after Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
They repeatedly blocked environmentally safe exploration in ANWR. The Department of Energy estimates that ANWR could allow America to produce about 1 million additional barrels of oil every day, which translates to about 27 million gallons of gasoline and diesel every day. That would be about a 20% increase of crude oil production over U.S. levels, and it would likely mean lower gas prices.
In fact, Mr. Bush is right here. A few years ago, the EIA, the United States Energy Information Administration, considered the impact of drilling in ANWR, and said that gasoline prices would go down, dropping 1 cent per gallon by the year 2025. But ANWR is not Mr. Bush's only prescription for soaring gas prices.
Another reason for high gas prices is the lack of refining capacity. It's been more than 30 years since America built its last new refinery. Yet in this area, too, Congress has repeatedly blocked efforts to expand capacity and build more refineries.
In fact, American refineries are only at 85% of capacity, according to the EIA. In fact, consumption fell from 2005 while production was stable. In fact, Mr. Bush got a new refinery bill that he said would increase refining capacity, and Democrats said would enrich the oil companies. In fact, Congress ignored Mr. Bush's request to use old military bases as refineries because oil companies don't want to, because the silly military didn't build them near pipelines. In fact, Mr. Bush has blocked Democratic measures such as the Price Gouging Prevention Act. In fact, in 2000, Mr. Bush said the next president should fight gas prices by making OPEC increase production, a mission Mr. Bush failed at in January and again last month. In fact, American oil executives have increased refining capacity by expanding existing refineries, and when top officials at the 5 biggest companies testified this month about whether they want new refineries, all of them said no. They made record profits anyway.